Good morning. Good morning, everyone. GM, and welcome to another episode of FOMO Hour. Today is Friday, Altcoin Friday. Friday, May 23rd, 2025. Folks, it was shaping up to be a glorious morning. Wake up, Bitcoin's humming along, alts are soaring on the day, our memes are green, and Trump wakes up on the wrong side of the bed. Announces new tariffs on the EU. Markets tumble, but we're already rebounding. And the question is, are we in for a green weekend? We're going to break it all down on today's show. We've got Farouk and Mando back with us. Boys, GM, how you doing?
Good morning.
GM. How you guys doing?
Happy Fcoin Friday. I'm fucking good, man. My bags are up a lot.
Fantastic.
Farouk, well rested. He was watching Rocky 3 last night and watching the Fcoin 1 second chart.
I couldn't sleep. Like, I was in bed at 10:30 p.m. and I slept at like 1 because I was watching Rocky 3, Rocky 4, and the Fcoin chart.
That's a fun day. That's a fun day.
Yeah. I was in bed to all these side events and I was like, I'll just watch the Fcoin chart.
Fcoin suddenly feels strong, doesn't it?
Suddenly?
Well, I feel like it hasn't had like a outperformance period for a while. It's just kind of like kept up, and now it feels like it's the strongest meme out there suddenly. Would you guys agree? Like, some other memes were moving much more than Fcoin, and then suddenly now it feels like, okay, well, this is the one to own.
It's still
$2.
It's still getting outperformed. That's the thing. It's not even like Pepe and Bonk both moved more.
$2.
Yeah.
Sunday
So
close.
There's room to go higher, faster. And maybe we'll get it today on Altcoin Friday. Folks, we've got a big show in store for you. We're going to start with the market report. This quick Bitcoin dip, it's already gone. There's a lot of calls for all season on the timeline. Are they out of pocket or is it for real this time? We're going to talk a bit about Solana's big week at Solana Accelerate. The Hyperlquid FOMO is ratcheting up as it hits a new all-time high. We've got major banks looking to enter the stablecoin game. The CFTC teasing legal perp futures. Kraken launching tokenized stocks. Solana Mobile, we talked about that yesterday. Launchcoin continues to pivot. 3 pivots yesterday. I think they might have set a new founder record for amount of notable pivots in a day. And runes are green. Pups up. Pups are going up again, folks, after this latest Kraken integration. So we'll talk about all that and more. Before we dig in, we got to give a shout out to our partner, Wallet Connect. Wallet Connect is the connectivity network shaping the future of on-chain UX. If you've connected to a Web3 app, you've seen Wallet Connect, that blue logo. It's everywhere. An icon of trust in crypto, as recognizable as Visa at the checkout. If you want to learn more, follow at Wallet Connect on X and Telegram to stay ahead of what's next. We love our partners as always. Mando, if you're ready, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
Who is the man, macro daddy of the land? Can you dig it?
So volatile, I would say. Today, we were all the way up just north of 111K. And then it felt a little bit soggy in certain spots, let's say. Although, like, Fcoin was strong and a few other things, like, it was feeling as though maybe stuff had like a mini top just before that news headline came out. Funding had gone high on a number of different coins, and then Trump basically came out today and said EU is going to get it. It's going to get 50 to 60% tariffs or something like that, or I guess 60 if you include the existing 10. And you know, I did say that I think the EU would be a tough negotiator. We've seen this playbook before. You know, feels like everyone wants to buy a tariff-related dip, but on a broader macro level, there is a lot of like worry at the moment, just because bond yields just keep going, particularly in Japan, and that continues to like make people very fearful about some sort of major global blow up, essentially. So maybe tariffs plus that was not going to be the greatest day for stocks, at least. In terms of crypto, I thought we had a very strong day in terms of headlines again yesterday. We obviously had the tokenization headline out of Kraken, which I think was strong. You had a story out that major US banks are going to be considering a stable coin. That this is to be vastly expected. I thought they'd all do separate ones, but they've decided to potentially join together, and you could tell that would get some sort of favorable treatment in the US if they did that. This would be TradFi getting into crypto for sure through this. Away from that, you had strategy saying they're going to buy some more Bitcoin. You had the CFTC coming out and saying, we spoke about hype yesterday, but they came out and said, look, we might get perps in the US soon, which was a good sign. I don't know if they'll be decentralized perps. They may be very regulated on centralized exchanges, which I think is maybe something to pay attention to. But it was a good sign, definitely a good sign to see. And Hyperlquid has been the best performer again out of L1s on the back of that as a headline, hit an all-time high of 37. So 37 billion. Definitely, I think it flipped Doge, I think. I don't know if it's flipped. It's getting close to, must be getting close to Sui now in terms of market cap, or is it overtaken Sui in terms of, I guess you can't see the
It's right there. 35.
Oh, wow.
Then 1 billion.
Holy
Yeah.
shit. Hyperlquid is a top 10 coin.
Yeah, it's coming.
Wow.
So big move in Hyperlquid. Obviously, still ratcheting up a ton of fees at the moment, and it's been a very popular trade, I think, throughout the timeline. Interestingly, I saw a headline today, which is the Bitcoin long-short ratio is at a 3-year low. It's at lows from September 2022.
What does that mean?
Well, I think that tells you that could be indicated that like people aren't as long as you would expect them to be.
Oh,
But
so that's
I think,
good.
But I think it would also tell you that there's a lot of basis trades, huge amount of basis trades because of that. So some people are like, oh, we're going to see a short squeeze, like the market's not even long. I don't know if it's that, but it is really surprising to see Bitcoin at an all-time high and the long short ratio to be at a 3-year low. So I saw that and I was like, wow, we could got a lot higher if that's the case. But then it's so much of this data is being affected by the basis trade. Like we had a massive inflow into the Bitcoin ETF yesterday, one of the biggest in months, and you just don't know. It's like I think a lot of that is the basis trade. So like the long short ratio is probably low because of that, and people are buying the ETF. So it's really difficult to judge on these sort of things, but it's certainly not bearish. It's just how bullish is it, really, I would say.
Could you Bitcoin and explain that? So basically, money is coming into the Bitcoin ETFs in spot, and then perps or a futures product, they're going short the same amount to effectively capture the spread.
Yeah, spread is one way to look at it, or capture the yield. Like to actually, if you've ever gone long on futures, you might realize that like you have to pay some money every 4 hours, and that money is paid from the longs normally to the shorts. And at certain times, when the market, everyone thinks we're going to break through an all-time high, the amount of money you have to pay to be long, which James Wynn knows, can be pretty high. So what they do is they buy the spot Bitcoin ETF and they short the futures, which means they're getting paid. They're getting paid from James Wynn essentially, and they capture a risk-free income stream there because they own the spot, and whatever happens, they've basically got the same position, but they're just taking in an income stream. So it's popular. It's popular whenever it gets above like 5%, and you can now do it with ETH and with Bitcoin mainly. So that's why since the Bitcoin ETFs became large, we haven't really seen funding rates spike at any time. They've remained relatively low because this money comes in to do this trade. But what you do see is that whenever it feels a bit frothy, which it has done the last couple of weeks, let's say, and funding starts to go high, you actually see very big inflows into the Bitcoin ETF. And people might read that as, oh, everyone's going along the top. But actually, people might be putting on, we would call them a delta neutral trade. It's like, it doesn't really mean anything what they're doing.
That makes sense. And like I'm one who loves to race to cheerlead and celebrate the ETF inflow numbers, but it feels more and more like it is that basis trade. It would be nice if we had access to like see the specifics on that. But what is notable, it looks like we just lost Mando. What is undeniable is that like the bid was on the US market open.
We should go on to Hyperlquid just to give it like an example for people here a little bit. It might be useful because if you're really degen, you don't have to do this with Bitcoin. So if you go into Hype or go on to Hype's not a bad one. Sort them by funding rate, maybe. Can you sort them by funding rate?
On perps?
On perps, yeah. Sort them by funding rate. I guess the other way. Yeah. So Fcoin, for example, if you hover over the 8-hour funding for Fcoin, it might tell you what that is annualized. Sometimes they do. But you could effectively go long Fcoin spot and short Fcoin futures here and earn 0.08% every 8 hours. So what's that every day? Let's say that's 0.25.
Well, this is why Fcoin is doing the most absurd perps volume. Have you seen the perps volume on Fcoin on CoinMarketCap?
Right. So you can earn 0.25% a day doing that. That is an annualized yield of 91% APR. It was much higher on an APY basis. So that is a risk-free trade. Like Farouk, you own Fcoin spot right now. You could just sell off into the sunset and be like, look, I'm just going to short Fcoin perps for the next month. And if this goes on for another month, I will earn, what is that, a month?
But
like
to be
10%.
fair, this works mostly on the chopping period, no?
This works mostly on a frothy period.
Frothy
This works when the market suddenly goes to all-time highs and people are willing to just be long Fcoin perps at any sort of funding, because they think it's going to go so much higher. So, like I said, you can actually just chill if you wanted to right now and just be like, look, I just want to earn 10% a month now for the next month, assuming that. But obviously this is dynamic. Fcoin funding is not always that high, and it may go all the way down to like flat at any one moment. But right now, if that was to stay as elevated for the rest of the year, then you would earn like 100% doing that. You double the money.
But that's why Fcoin is doing so much volume. Like if you look on CoinMarketCap, Fcoin perps on Binance have done 600 mil in 24 hours, 500 mil on Bybit, 500 mil in some like all these little like scummy and weird exchanges as well. And then you have Hyperlquid, like it's doing like billions of dollars of perp volume.
Yeah,
but
24 hours.
But you're giving up your upside. So like if he did that and Fcoin ripped to $2, he would miss that.
Of course.
Right.
But you could do a bit. You could hedge like 50% right now, right? And be like, so instead of selling Fcoin, you could just short Fcoin, and actually that can be a better trade. Or you don't realize capital gains, and you capture the funding.
Well, this is what the market makers do, right? I speak to them all the time. Like this is like
what they do.
These guys they all do that. Like I have a homie that is like one of the top wallets on Hyperlquid. Like we're talking like a ridiculous amount of like really, 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 really ridiculous amount of volume, and that's all they do.
Yeah, I mean it's the things to manage it. So I said, you're going to get 100%. Well, that depends on how much capital you put up, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if you did like a 10x or 5x short, right, you're actually going to put up some capital to do that. So that eats into your return over both pools of capital. And then you have to worry about liquidation risk. So, like, if Fcoin got a spot listing at Binance tomorrow, like, you're probably going to get liquidated, and then that's like that can be really bad because perps often have big wicks. So it's something that you do have to like manage. But this is a very common trade. This is what Athena is doing on Bitcoin and ETH. But you could do it on Fcoin yourself right now, and I don't think it's the worst idea that if like Fcoin hits $2 to like put on this trade, right, and then you can just chill for the summer, Farouk. And and not really have to worry about that much. So
Yeah, well, Fcoin's going to $10 this summer, and I won't have to worry about that either on a yacht in Ibiza. So, I
You'd
can
be
also
giving
do
up a
that.
lot of upside, my friend,
You know?
to get safer play. I mean, one of the clear winners of what you're talking about is people who are running this strategy on chain.
Yeah.
They're doing it on
Killing it.
Hyperlquid.
I wonder
Yeah,
if James Wynn, like even that you called him what? I was watching the clip of you guys and Mando was
Big
laughing.
game James.
Big game James.
Big
Oh
game.
my, that clip of you and Mando is so funny from yesterday. I honestly just died laughing. But Big Game James, I was talking to some, obviously it was topic conversations at dinner here, right? Because it's like the biggest position in crypto. And a lot of people are saying that he's just probably like hedging, like he's just doing this in public, but there's, he's probably doing what Mando's saying somewhere else. Or not. I think he's just like the most degenerate human being we've ever seen. But
you could just
Big
do
Game
this
James,
pure.
baby.
You could do this on Hyperlquid just yourself right now because you can trade.
Oh, a lot
Fcoin
of people are
spot.
doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people do it with small size too. Like I think
Yeah, of course.
Stats was talking
Yeah.
about it at some point, right? Like you don't need like a ton of money to do what Mando's saying.
It's great advertisement for Hyperlquid.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, that's why it's top 10. Like this is insane.
Hyperliquid's raking in the fees right now. I think I saw it. They made $3.5 million in the last 24 hours, which they're piling back into buybacks of their token.
Fuck.
Now, I mean, look at the TVL. TVL's just soaring now. It's up. What was it? 400 million on the April bottom. 350 million. Now it's up 5x. I mean, it's basically up as much as the hype token is up. I mean, these charts mirror each other, but it feels like it's different this time. And what I mean by
What a
that is
chart.
FOMO is kicking in. The group chats, people are trying to figure out how do we bridge the hype? What's the hyper EVM play? Should we buy these NFTs over there? Should we buy the hype memes over there ahead of a potential hype EVM season? Which is the next leg of this potential trade, right? So far, it's been making this run just based on its perps product and the fees they generate. And the EVM, hype EVM has basically been at zero. That's a big unlock. I think that's got to be a part of the bull case. And I mean, the price action is enough marketing on its own. Up 4x now off the April 7th bottom. One of the single fastest horses in crypto right now. I think this kind of leads back to one of our talking points today. Is alt season for reals this time? Growing chatter. It was widely mocked. It's been widely mocked for what feels like 2 years. We've got folks like Blunts calling for it. I mean, Mando saying ETH running to 4K, like that would be an alt season. Any kind of an ETH run would certainly be a part of that.
I think we're all on board with the idea this could be a little bit of a move here, but I would just be wary of thinking it will last for that long. Like alt seasons, people are like, oh, everything's going to run to all-time high. Everything, I don't think that's going to happen. And I think we said yesterday, 4 weeks is kind of how long they often last. So I think you could see that. Bitcoin dominance is still at 64%. So it's not like it's sitting there and it's not like some unbelievable altcoin season. But do I think that we could have strength in alts for 4 weeks? Yeah, for sure.
This chart looks pretty damn strong. So I mean, you got to be aggressive. Like you got to be really thinking this is going to shift significantly to be like really pounding the table right now. And I'm not talking about you, man. I'm just talking about others who are just like kind of screaming alt season now on the timeline. But Farouk, I feel like you're kind of positioned for alt season. Like what would have been yesterday? Like Mando asked me about my book a little bit. I kind of went into it. Like what have you been building lately?
I have the best portfolio in crypto, bro. Yeah. I have a lot of my liquid net worth in Fcoin, but that's been very public position for a while. I have not touched it. Actually, I've only bought more. So I'm not touching. I'm not selling, and I'm not adding either. I'm just gonna wait. I'm convinced we go to $5 at least. So I'll just Wait for that. That's my OSF with trade. You know what I mean? And it's going well so far. And then I moved a lot of my Sonic position, a lot of it, to Pepe and Mog a couple nights ago. So before this other leg up, so I'm eating on that as well. Because even on this downtrend, it held better than alts. And I never touched my rect position, so I'm still a top 25 holder of rect. So that's going very well for you, boy. And that's it. I
What a
have
month
nothing
for
else.
Rect. Just quick shout to Rect. 120 million FDV.
Yeah, it
400%.
stopped at all-time high yesterday. It literally stopped there. It was about to break the ATH at 125 and it stopped. And so that's it. My levered BTC Sol is Fcoin because I think Fcoin is kind of like a leverage on like Bitcoin itself, which is crazy to say. And Solana, and then on Ethereum, Pepe, Mog, Rect has proven to be the three winners, and Rect has been the leader. And then Pepe and Mog have similar setups, but I think Pepe is ready for big leg up, and I agree with Mando that Ethereum had quite a big run, and I think that run's gonna keep. It's got to go back to 4K, right? So if ETH goes back to 4K, Pepe breaks all-time high. Like Pepe to me is still like I think I've been saying it since 2023. Like Mando, Ovi, and I, when we were early on Pepe, we've been saying this, but like I genuinely think Pepe is a top 20 token, and the cycle's not over. So my beliefs hasn't changed. So I think if I can write that, I'm happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Mog looks like it's coming here.
Yeah, and like a lot of them look good. Like Bonk and Pepe have the same setup. Like Pepe, ETH, and Mog have the exact same structure right now. Like the exact same. Like the charts are the same. Mog moves actually a little more than Pepe did the other day after I bought, which was nice. But I don't know.
Mog
I like it here.
I'm looking at Mog right now.
Yeah. It's prime. It's gonna make a rec move. I think rec led.
That's the one that looks like it could move, right?
Yeah.
So it's all-time high was 4.
So the all-time high for Mog is $1.5 billion. That was literally the day of the rug house.
The party.
Party. Yeah, at the party with Blondish DJ. That was the Pico top. Yeah, the day after Coinbase. And so, to me, a coin with so much strength, and look, you guys know how much I love Mog. That's like my family, right? And it's just like it's just so obvious to me. It's like Rags. It's like so obvious. It's not like they left. Like K Money is like one of the greatest shillers of this fucking cycle. Undeniable. So, you know, while Rect is running with brand coin narrative, Mog is like the culture coin, and Pepe is just the king of the cycle. There's no, Pepe is the undeniable king of the cycle.
It's such a nice, clean setup on ETH. Like ETH, like if you think ETH is going to move and the betas are going to move faster, it's like Pepe, Mog, Rect is just like so, like they're standing out. But the other one but we gotta give the shout out. SPX is in the conversation,
right? Exactly. So I know I'm Pepe, Mog, Rect, but like SPX is another one, right? Like this is like doing really well. It's just like I don't,
950.
Yeah.
What do you think of this Robinhood listing yesterday for Moodang and Mew?
Dude,
are we about to see another bit of a listing cycle here? That's what came to my mind. And then the obvious coins there are Fcoin.
You could argue Mog. I don't like.
You could argue Mog, right?
Mog is on Coinbase and on no, it's not. Oh, it doesn't even have Binance Spot yet. By the way, Mog. It was listed on Alpha. Don't forget that Mog got listed on Alpha Binance a few weeks ago. Don't sleep on that. Like,
oh, I didn't know that. Like, I just assumed it was already on Binance.
No, it's on Alpha. So like, keep that in mind. Like that Mog move. 2 highs, and once that break the highs, like I think Rect is going to destroy its highs. Right? If you look at the Mog chart and the Rect chart, I think Mog's going to pull what Rect did. But like on that Mando, I'm not going to call insider here, but that Moodang move up, and then all of a sudden you get a fucking news on Robinhood. That's a classic. But hey, we like those. I think who do you guys think? Like Fcoin is I think Fcoin is the best product for the West, for like a Western listing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Just how I see it. I'm obviously super back biased, but there's a reason I've been back.
I saw that and I was like, right, is this what we kind of saw in November a little bit, where suddenly we're going to start to see a few of them? Do they think that's enough? Fcoin seems like an obvious one here with what we just said. Like if I was Binance right now, I'd recognize that Fcoin is driving a lot of the interest right now in Hyperlquid and be like, right, let's list this. And then for
Oh, you're right about that.
the other
That's true.
coins, it just feels like the time, doesn't it? Feels like the time to maybe push some of these. I look at Moodeng and even go like, this thing can go. Like, that's a pretty attractive. It's got Robinhood. It hasn't got Binance yet. It hasn't got Bybit.
It's a company.
Hank,
I don't know if
who are
can we talk about for a second that 2 weeks ago, Moodeng pumped out of nowhere and did a 7x.
Well, it's
and
not
now
nowhere. Now you know why.
Now it's on Robinhood spot. Two weeks later.
You know why. I mean, yeah,
These
now you
things
know.
correlated in any way.
Wintermute candles.
Wintermute candles. Literally.
I looked at it and I was like, yeah, I don't know.
Can they call me next time? Like
I'm interested right now.
What's
Moodeng
the
could
I like
go.
it.
all-time high? What's the
shout out to
all-time high?
Cook. I think Cook cooked on that. And I don't know if Rasmus still has his Moodeng position, but these two guys, they're like obsessed with Moodeng.
Rasmus sold it for sure. Anyone who held through this period, though, like if you held through that,
Mental illness. You deserve to win.
These
God
are
bless.
medals.
Yeah, I think like like you have like all these like yesterday I was looking to add some on the Solana side. Like I was honestly looking to add some Popcat because that's a good setup and like it's the other one. But like I don't want to move any Fcoin. And I think my Fcoin position is so big that I'm done with the Solana side. Like it's just. But if I had to add like Popcat's looking really good. Like and that's another
Good.
strong one, Mando. Like in terms of listings and community and all that.
I just don't
I
know.
don't
I
know
haven't
what
really
else.
felt like it much.
Whiff looks
round.
good here.
Good. I still
Whiff
like
looks good here.
I think.
I mean, I
The
never
whiff
thought
is-
to see it, but Jenny, like the dog with the hat actually does look good. Like, if you look at it on like Trading View, I know like this, it doesn't look good, but on Trading View, it looks fucking amazing. Like, so I don't
I mean,
know.
this is pretty good. Yeah. Are we just gonna run back all of these memes? But
Yeah.
to me, there's like two schools of thought. So if you think we're like sell in May and go away, which I don't think any of us do really,
Well, that's proven wrong, right?
then
I think you've got until mid-June.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm going to
Maybe
Ibiza in
10th of June. I would want to be severely reducing.
I'm taking a lot of positions off mid-June. That's my goal.
man, that is a short time frame.
Is
I
it?
mean, it's a short time frame, but for maximize in
Maybe
crypto,
some
like
more.
this time frame is a lot.
I know what you're saying, and the data backs this up. That data backs you up.
Yeah.
And we were looking at it yesterday. The explosive meme move, for instance, that took place last year happened from
The Trump candle on Solana was fucking like overnight.
it was a
dude.
month. The meme move was a month. So 4 or 5 weeks. And if you're arguing that the move has already started, then you're right. The clock's already started. So we've got 3 to 4 weeks left. But
And then,
like,
but then we
in my
run it back in
mind-
Q4. Then we run it back in Q4.
which I would be comfortable with. I'd be perfectly happy with that. But it kind of like part of me feels like, man, it's like this new meta, this new cycle is just starting. And that's why it's hard for me to fathom like, oh, this is going to be over in 4 weeks. That's just like my personal emotional feel with not taking a hard look at all of this. But it's good advice, and to keep that in check, that you need to start thinking about that. It could very well play out like that. And then back to your Robinhood point, then they need to get going on some of these things. We need to get some of these spot listings coming in soon. It's going to be an interesting early summer, or I guess late spring, technically.
I think like people know, like people want to buy shit in summer. Like give the people what they want. Like list the tokens, make your fucking fees. Like Coinbase and all those companies, like make your cash.
But we're
If
talking
I was
about
Coinbase
memes.
right now, I'd list all people's favorite meme coins just from a pure media standpoint because they've taken such a beating on the back of this like in terms of PR. I fucking list the biggest memes just to give people something to chew on while we're getting chewed out in social media. Straight up
So
from
what-
a PR standpoint.
What are we saying at the end of this conversation? Which ones do you want to own? What are your top 3 other than Fcoin? Or like other than your current
Dogecoin,
bags?
actually, that's not in our bag. Doge, especially with the
Interesting.
Solana thing that happened yesterday, I think it's pretty cool. And it's just sitting at $23 billion. Talking about the king of memes. So we're talking 3 that's not in our bags. Okay. Doge. I don't want to say floki, but these memes always pump again. Like it's stupid, but you know, she wants to keep it safe.
Mm.
I don't know. What do you think, Tyler? Okay, I'll say Doge, Popcat, and let me think about the third one while you guys think. And Trump.
Oh wow, those some wild takes. I
Pengu.
think, what are you gonna get for Doge? A 2x? Like I don't know.
No.
I'm happy. I'm happy skipping the Doge trade here. I think SPX looked that SPX chart looked good. I think MOG looks really good. And one of the wild cards, like a token like Pingu.
Yeah, Pengu, for sure.
Pingu making a run.
For sure.
It's 80% off all-time high still. Luca just
No
went up
brainer.
on stage yesterday and said there's the biggest announcement of the year is still coming. So that's a
Okay, if we're
potential.
talking the smaller ones, like not like this, like Popcat, Pengu, and like I don't know another one. What do you think, Mando?
Yeah, I think looking at MOG again, just looks like that's the one for me right here. Like Pepe's had a decent move now, and I think MOG has got another 2x in it here, basically.
Yeah.
At
2x
least.
feels pretty realistic. What no one's talking about is the number one runes, the dog token, which is quietly at 520 million with a Kraken integration on the way. So everyone's still fading the top runes dog.
I'm so tired of, you know what? I'm even tired of the runes thing. I'm like I looked at pups right now and like Bitcoin's at 110. This thing is like still ranging at 30 mil. Like, you know what? Like
It's
at
devastating.
this stage, like my $250,000 in pups that once was, it's probably worth like 15K. I'm gonna sell it and like buy myself an insane vacation this summer with it. Like that's a great fucking 10-day in like a 5-star resort with my girl. And I'm just gonna drink it away.
Yeah, probably get better.
Yeah.
Well,
Better
more
ROI on life
of that
with
than
that.
watching Fcoin. Well, what we haven't talked about is alts. So like we've been talking about memes for alt season. Oh, we talked about hype, but other than hype, like are you looking at any of these other more traditional alt plays? So like WorldCoin's been on a tear. It's up 32% this week. Jupiter had a big announcement yesterday. They're rolling out their lend product. They're up 20%.
Nice.
Tao's been hanging out. It's doing all right. I kind of pointed this. I feel like it's still like it feels like it's AI and memes.
What up with the Believe Eco?
Eh,
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, yesterday was a very messy day.
Yeah, look at the launch coin chart and looked amazing, and then in one day got new from 260 to like 160. What happened?
Yeah, the total market cap in Believe is 280 million right now. Launch coin's at 177. It's kind of hanging out at support right now. 180 million's been at its support level. Yes, messy day from founder Ben Pasternak yesterday. So about a day ago, Believe app came out and said we're going to make a few changes. Launches using the launch coin handle are temporarily paused due to a surge in non-legitimate. Like try to get rid of like the trash tokens, the scams they're launching. Kind of made sense. And then a change to their verified is the new feature. They're going to go live throughout the day. They immediately got pushback on that. So 30 minutes later, Pasternak says, okay, we're going to make changes based on the feedback here. Give us 30 minutes. And then a few hours later, sorry for the chaos. Live iteration is tough. Staying stagnant is not an option. We got to keep evolving. And then 8 hours later, he makes another pivot and says, Believe will not be the arbiter of truth. No more featured verification at all. So they're throwing out the verified launches. Which was kind of like the hallmark of this app. So anyone could launch on Believe, right? And that's how we had 15,000 launches in the first week. But part of the core bull case is he was going to be able to round up real builders with real products, and then they would launch them in a more in a verified fashion, so that you know, like, okay, this is like a legit launch to watch. And now they're kind of throwing out that responsibility. And it happened in a very knee-jerk way. So like I was following all this in real time. And it's like, we're doing this thing, then this thing, then this thing. And I hate this as a market participant because to me, it just shows that you're very reactionary. You're making knee-jerk decisions and you're not sitting down and making like a thoughtful plan and vision for your ecosystem. So like I've painted the bull case on this show, but I have to be very objective here. Like I thought this was a very bad look from Pasternak and the Believe app. And the market's kind of showing it. A lot of the recent Believe launches, like they're pretty low. Like let's look where the market cap's at. Yeah, we've got 3 coins hanging out over 10 million, but they're all below 15 now. Pretty
Yeah.
a lot of stuff down on the day. There was another messy one of the recent launches, Kled. Like the founder got his Twitter deleted.
There's so much drama, dude. Like I looked at the comments and then I'm like, then people were pissed that like Pasternak has not been like supporting the meme coins. They're kind of fucking them off when they were the biggest in the ecosystem and this and that. I'm like, I don't know. What is
I
this
can't
always
imagine
happen?
a more predictable thing than what is going on right now.
I know.
Like-
I was just gonna say this, man. It's like I tried to believe it. I'm looking at it like, fuck. Like it's the same thing all the time.
Exactly the things happened with AI16Z, what happened with virtuals. Like, if you're trying to be some sort of like gated launch pad, and like you've got the secret sauce to launch good things, it works at the start, and then it just gradually gets worse and worse.
But I mean, AI16Z went to 4 billion, and so did virtuals. Right?
But
Better
we're not
timing.
in that market. We're not in that market.
Better
of new
timing.
people coming by AI. Like this was literally just the guys that stuck around deciding we were going to buy.
It was the AXCZ people.
Yeah.
That
What I
bought
will, so and I shared my negative outlook. The potential upside, paint the bull case, it's still at support. So 180 million is holding. And I mean, they could like the bull case of them still bringing in founders and having a viral launch is still on the table. Right?
Yeah.
And it's still only 2 weeks
100%.
old. So
Well, yeah,
I'm
dude.
still not like writing this to like send it to zero. Like that's not what I'm saying by any means. My advice to Ben is just to like take a long weekend,
Yes.
sit down with your team, like think about like how you want this to go, and just stop making.
And
rapid
please don't crash out.
3 hours.
And please don't crash out.
So
That's the natural evolution of the founders. They usually crash out next at support.
Come out, say, okay, we were too reactionary. Here's our go forward plan. Here's our potential flywheel. Here is like the set of X founders that we think are going to be able to come launch products with us in the next month. And I think it would do a lot to inspire confidence.
He
we'll
should come
see.
on the show on Monday. Tuesday, sorry.
ICM summer. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm ready for if I call an ICM summer.
It's Solana summer.
Let's talk about Solana summer. You're at Accelerate. There's been a lot of chatter about ETH on the timeline. The Sol ETH chart looks pretty damn good to me. I'm betting on Sol being a faster horse than ETH if we get an alt season this month. And part of it's the momentum coming out of Accelerate. But Farouk, your boots on the ground. What's been your experience?
Listen, I'm the founder of an EVM aligned company. I want to put this forward. But Solana every time, look, Solana Accelerate was electric. It was a great conference. It's still going on today. I just happen to have to leave, or else I'd be there. There's a lot of energy. All the creators are there. Then you have I was telling someone yesterday, what I like about Solana is like there's a really cool culture. So you have all the creator folks. Then you have the nerdy devs, let's say. Then you have just the consumers, the participants that come and chill. And then you have the big founders. They're all here, by the way. Like the big dogs. Like there's a lot of big folks, as you can see from the people who are speaking. The panels are packed. Every booth is packed. It's not a huge venue. It's perfect, right? It's at Pier 36 in New York by the water. And it's Solana in a nutshell. Like there's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And it was a great conference. I'm really glad that Ledger brought me out here. I'm very happy I came. It's like going to a cool Apple conference. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like it was just really good energy. So a lot of people that I knew and a lot of the creators, etc. as well. And it reminds me why I'm bullish on the Solana ecosystem. And I have been bullish on this ecosystem since Q4 2023, and I've not once been bearish on it. I was pissed off during the Libra scandal, but I was never bearish on Solana as an ecosystem. And I think it's recovered very well from that. And what I love about Solana is that while a lot of people like to take the piss on it, saying it's just a meme coin ecosystem, it's so not. And I think that's been proven since. There's a lot of great things being built on it, whether it's DeFi and RWA, etc. A lot of great apps, and it's still the most attractive place to build as a founder. And that's a fact. And I think that it's great. And I think that there's some good notes that can be taken from Ethereum and its foundation. I do think that they will probably do it. But I do think that, I see the appeal in Solana still, and it just keeps me bullish on it, right? Solana Accelerate is a great conference. It's really, really good actually. So very glad I came.
And we've seen some of the big updates. So we had Solana Alpenglow. That's the next network upgrade. It's going to be 100x faster. We had the Kraken stock tokenization coming to Solana news. We had the largest meme coin, Doge, bridging over to Solana. I think that's more of a minor one. We've got Jupiter rolling out new products as it becomes a more comprehensive DeFi protocol. And then Solana Mobile betting bigger on its own token and just a broader mobile ecosystem. So that's
it's just different. It's just different. Like Solana is going to be I don't like the whole thing going on right now. The Hype will flip Sol. It's stupid. Hype should have aspired to flip Binance. That's the narrative, right? Solana should aspire to flip whatever the fuck, right? Like Solana wants probably the next Uber, Airbnb, etc. to be built on Solana, and it will. The next, like Helium right now, right? It's mega, right? The next AT&T is being built on Solana, literally. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure they work with AT&T, right? So these things, right? The next social even Farcaster announced that they have the Solana integration right now.
Yeah.
So Solana's that, right? Solana's like the Apple, right? That's Solana should aspire to flip Apple as a company, like that. To me, that's what it is. And Hype is completely different, right? Than that. And I think that's just how it's always going to be from here forward. I think Solana is a multi-cycle major. Not only is it still the token of this cycle, I think it will continue to be like one of the biggest tokens in this ecosystem. And just undeniably, numbers don't lie. And, the volume doesn't lie either.
I'm with you. I'm comparing and contrasting ETH. This says, again, someone who's on the timeline as a market participant. And I don't know if it's like the hype is just kind of gone from ETH, but like the ETH conferences, you don't have these splashy announcements. Maybe that's because like the development and it's coming out of so many different parts of the broader ecosystem. It's it's across L2s and not just ETH mainnet. And maybe Solana is just more centralized, so you get these pockets. But these pockets when they roll out.
That's always been the case with these like SUI, like they always can have a conference because it's way more. The foundation just takes a more active role in BD. The foundation barely does any BD. It's trying.
I think it's going to change.
You think?
But yeah, you're right.
I feel like it just sits as an arbiter of like politics almost. These foundation is a very different sort of foundation to other blockchain foundations, isn't it?
I know.
The whole feel of it is just it's not around business.
You're right. You're right. And I hope this changes. I think the new people in charge of foundation are good, and I think that's going to change. But that's why Solana's ahead, and it's working.
Broke thinks ETH is he's still bullish ETH. I mean,
well, what I did is I was bullish ETH, so what I did is I barbelled with Pepe and Mog on top of my Rect. So I'm pretty much only have exposure now to like ETH and Sol via meme coins.
We're going straight.
I'm back to 100%, pretty much 100% meme coin portfolio, and I like it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think
I'm just a genius.
We've gone around it, the talking points. Just quick reactions to a couple of the headlines, and then we're going to go to Fcoin Friday Yeet Spins here just in 1 minute. CFTC perps trading. I feel like this is kind of mixed. I think some people said this is good for Hyperlquid because it means they'll face less regulatory challenges. The flip side is perhaps they'll have more competition. Curious, Amanda, did you have a read on this and potential impacts to, or either of you?
The CFTC is a governing body. They are basically saying we can allow perps to trade, but they'll need to be regulated. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what that means for a perp DEX versus a perp SEX. Let's put it that way. So I think they've been pretty aggressive against DEXs doing this. Mm-hmm. Just because it comes down to that rule of the CFTC is the commodities regulator, right?
Right.
So they are saying we can allow commodities perps to trade. But if you're going to come in and be like, look, we're going to list the long tail of perps here, then they might be like, well, we're not going to allow you to do that in the US because it's not regulated. We can't regulate it. So I think what you'll see is that the ones that basically get ETFs will be available to trade as perps in the US, and that will happen relatively soon, I think. But I don't know if a platform like Hyperlquid necessarily will be the one that benefits from this. It will be like Coinbase is able to trade more. I don't know though. Like I really don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of on the fence as well. I don't think the reason hype pumped yesterday was on the back of this news. Just to put that out there, I think it's other drivers.
Yeah,
but I don't. I think my point is I'm not sure that this is necessarily a slam dunk bullish headline for Hyperlquid. So just one to watch, and the other one, banks getting into stable coins. This has been like we've kind of known that they were thinking about it. This isn't like a formal thing. They're still just kind of potentially planning. It does feel like it's a direct threat to Circle. It feels like Circle needs to sell ASAP. What was my takeaway from this one? So
yeah, I think that's very fair.
We'll continue to see. But folks,
there'll be a buyer for Circle. I think XRP will try and buy them. Why wouldn't they?
They have to sell quick. If I was them, I'd just dump this company, make my $5 billion, and sell off the sunset. Stable coins, everyone's gonna launch a stable coin. I mean, even Iran at this stage is gonna have a stable coin.
Well, we went around the horn. Sims, if you're ready, let's.
How do you know that?
I'm hearing things. I'm hearing things. You know.
Okay, so as people may have known, X has not been connecting to Rafflebot. It's not a Rafflebot issue. It's an X issue with the API. We want to get these spins out today. So what we're going to do is we're going to reward our 2 highest referred volume users. I won't give the exact volumes out, but I can tell you the first spin will be Eddie Out, and the second spin will be DXV, who I believe is a red guy. DXV123.
Yeah. So regardless of whether
Roman
you're
numerals,
here or
but
not,
I'm stupid.
this is a decision. No, but regardless of whether they're here or not, we're decided because X broke. And we couldn't. The raffle bot broke. It's not raffle. It's X that completely broke. And by the way, changes coming to that very soon, y'all, with regards to our streaming. But we've made the executive decision to reward the 2 people that are the top 2 sitting at the volume that we've referred. And they've made a lot of volume on Yeet, and we think that's fair to pick the people. I appreciate you guys saying it's pretty smart because why not, right? You guys have driven the most volume on FOMO hour on Yeet using the FOMO hour ref code, and we think that it's only fair that we just give you guys these two spots. So no,
I think they can still request.
Make it like
yeah,
that
they can still request and come up.
If you're here,
underscore, I believe, is on Twitter, and I believe it's underscore DXVIII on Twitter.
Yeah, DXV3, which is I know it's a number. What's DXV?
Well, we can just do it for them anyway, no?
We can do it for them because we've got all their usernames in the back.
Yeah, we'll play for them even if they're not here, and they're gonna find out via surprise. But if you're here,
is a mess. I don't think it's gonna work. I'm getting
No, forget it. Let's just play.
It is messy. Okay, so we're doing Fcoin plus which coin? Yeah, we can do it. It's easy.
Do we do Fcoin, Bitcoin, barbell for each of them?
I think that's fair.
How about Fcoin Solana for Accelerate?
Yeah, let's do.
Okay, higher wins.
A little bit of Bitcoin, a little bit of Solana, a little.
500 Solana, 500 Fcoin, and split the winnings. Yeah, we'll go that far.
I actually don't know what the limit is.
Well, let's find out.
Yeah.
Are you talking about playing them together?
We can do
let's do 2 runs. Let's do 2 runs.
2 runs? Okay.
Damn. Oh, Dogecoin win.
Wait, what, Mendo? I can't hear Mendo.
Let's do Bitcoin, Solana, and Fcoin now. Let's use up the budget, so whatever it will be.
Do what, sorry? 500 on Fcoin?
No, don't. Wait, stop it. Let's wait next round. Hold on.
Whoa. Tell me what we're doing.
So how much is this again?
So we have $1,000 to play because they already made 1,000 together, right? So we're gonna do 1 round. Let's do 250.
It did let me do 500 then on FAT, so we could give both users the same thing.
So let's do 500 FAT, 250 Bitcoin, 250 Sol.
Let's do that, and then we split the winnings in half.
Split the winnings. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Ooh, sold this one.
Oh my god.
Fuck.
Right, 500 Fcoin.
Yeah.
250. And what else? Bitcoin?
250 Bitcoin.
All right.
Bang.
Yo, Solana had
Here we
just
go.
won too. That was a 5x.
No, Farcoin 57x.
Let's go.
All right.
Farcoin.
Whoever wins, whoever wins.
Fortune favors the bold.
Oh my god.
Farcoin looking good here.
Relax.
Farcoin looking good here. Farcoin looking good here. Farcoin looking good here. Point Solana. No, go.
Dogecoin wins.
Oh my goodness. Oh
Yo,
my
that was
goodness.
the nastiest game
What
I've
a
ever
sweat.
seen.
Oh, what a
My
sweat.
my fucking heartbeat is going after that.
Oh,
Yo,
man.
honestly, Mando, that was dirty because Solana almost won last minute too.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Mando
Well-
wins again.
Mando wins
Uh,
again. Well, guess what? The first biggest referrers though each made $500 without even coming on the show today. So
Yeah.
good for them.
It's the fairest way of doing this, and we'll
Yeah.
continue again on Monday.
So Monday, by the way, are we taking off? It's a big US holiday.
Thank you for understanding.
Thank you for understanding.
I think we should, yeah. Yeah, let's chill.
By the way, does that mean that the markets are closed Monday?
Marcus,
Oh, we're
horrible.
gonna rip this weekend.
long holiday weekend. As long as Trump doesn't give us any more bad tariff news.
Oh, don't worry, we got India in the bag, bro. Forget the EU; they're useless. We got the UK. It's the best
Coming out of his
country out
big, beautiful crypto dinner last night, he needs to help us pump the crypto markets here this weekend. So we'll be back Tuesday to break all this weekend action down with you all. Thank you all for joining us here on Fcoin Friday. Want to shout out our listeners. Want to shout out co-hosts. Shout out our partner, Wallet Connect. Thank you all. Enjoy your weekend. Have a beautiful day. We'll see you on Tuesday.